I've never talked about this, and I watched the show, and I always wanted to talk about it on the podcast. Do you guys watch Narcos? Why are you laughing? Dude, Narcos, okay, look, first of all, the guy who plays fucking Pablo Escobar on Narcos, I'm telling you right now, that's the best acting I've seen in years, dude. He's Pablo Escobar. And I don't even mean he's the real Pablo Escobar. I mean, he created a fucking character. Even though there's a real Pablo Escobar, he made this guy on TV Pablo Escobar. Maybe he's not like the real Pablo Escobar. Doesn't matter. That guy in his head is literally thinking, I'm not the actor, I'm this guy. But then he forgets that and just is that guy. That acting that guy does as Pablo Escobar has not been seen since like early Robert De Niro shit. I mean, he's so good, dude. He is so fucking good. And I love that. I love the show. It takes a little bit getting into because the fucking voiceover, dude. They use the voiceover. They have the guy, the white guy, whatever the fuck that guy is, who played the bad guy in the Logan movie. Whatever his name is. Who, the voiceover, everybody's good, but the voiceover, like all this guy talks about is, hey, we were, like it's the most unnecessary voiceover. That's the thing I don't get about that show. Is it could just be the show. Now, there's a thing in writing and in screenwriting where they say like you can make any movie without the voiceover and it's better if you don't. But all the best movies that you ever fucking have watched have voiceover on it. So it's kind of like a bullshit thing. Like they say in screenwriting when you learn it, like you never need to have a voiceover. You can always but all the best movies have voiceovers on it. I can't even think of one right now. Goodfellas. As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. And then Beanie Siegel put it on his album, and he started it because, dude, rappers love fucking Italian gangster shit, man. You've seen too many movies. That's why Tupac said that. But no, when fucking Beanie Siegel came out with an album, he took a page from the Goodfellas, and he says, "As far as back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster." As far as back, he says. Saddam. As far back as I remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. But Boyd, what's his name? Boyd? Is that the guy? Donald Pierce? Oh, no. That's him? Yeah, that's the Narcos guy, right? So, he's good. I'm not saying he's not good. But he's good in the fucking show. He's great. But I like the guy. He's awesome. The voiceover dude is hilarious, though. It's so necessary. And it's so describing. It's like what Narcos didn't know was we were 2 steps ahead of them. Well, what the Narcos didn't know was we were always 2 steps ahead of them. But then, what we didn't realize was that the Narcos were 4 steps behind us. So we had to go 6 steps back. Now in Miami, 2 steps were way different than what it was down in Colombia. We were used to 2 steps in Miami, but 2 steps in Colombia was technically 1.5 steps. Due to the elevation and the drug trafficking, we had to do math and make sure that every 1.5 steps we took was actually 2 steps. This is the way we got ahead of the Narcos. And you're just like, okay. It's just showing fucking scrolling shots of like cocoa leaves. Pablo Escobar didn't realize was we had him right where we wanted. But what we didn't realize was that Pablo had us right where he wanted before that. So what we had to do was jockey around and move positions without letting him know, but also we had to keep him right where we wanted. And that was how we got the jump on Narcos. But we got the jump on them, but what we didn't realize was that they were underwater, and you can't jump in water. So what we had to do was, you guessed it, drain the Narcos pool. And you're just like, okay. And then they fucking stab somebody in the face, and you're like, oh, this show's good. You see, we didn't realize that the Narcos had private jets, and they were taking all the coke from one area to another. So when we got to the area, they were already somewhere else. And even though we had them right where we wanted, we realized one thing. Where we wanted wasn't actually where we needed. And then they fucking stab somebody in the cock and make them eat it. You see, the Narcos were funny. Not funny like ha-ha, but the kind of funny where you just sit back and you look and think, damn, that's funny. So you're taking 2 steps every 1.5 steps, and the elevation taken into account, because Colombia was a lot lower than Miami. We were used to 3 feet above sea level, but where the Narcos were 10 feet below sea level. So what we had to do was get taller guys. Oh. You see, when the Narcos came, it changed everything. Everything from buying, selling, the government, killing, winning, baseball, shirts, running, aliens, sky. And all those things were 2 steps ahead of us. And then somebody gets fucking shot in the fucking eye. You see, what the Narcos didn't know was, that's every fucking, the beginning of every monologue in the voiceover. You see, what we didn't know, you see, what the Narcos didn't know was, you see, what Paul didn't remember, you see, what my wife didn't realize was, you see, what the 1-year-old baby we just adopted from the Narcos didn't know was, goo goo gaga. Now, the baby said goo goo gaga. We didn't know what he meant, but what we didn't realize was the Narcos knew exactly what baby talk was. So we got an informant. We got someone who could understand baby talk, and his name was Poison. We got Poison talking to that baby. The baby would say goo goo gaga to Poison, and Poison would ship 20 kilos back to Miami. That's how the operation was. We had them right where we wanted. And then they fucking stretch someone's limbs so hard that their shoulders come out of their sockets. The voiceover in Narcos, dude. Ah, shit. We all had sneakers on. I feel like that in the middle of that show, there could be a voiceover where the guy just for no reason said, we all had sneakers on during this scene. And you just would literally not even realize it. And then they'd fucking, somebody would like rape someone and then stab them in the head. And then you'd be like, whoa, this show's fucking gritty. You notice the Narcos wearing sneakers? We all had sneakers. Oh no, get away from me, no. Oh, this show's gritty. That guy has blue eyes. Oh, shit.